part one of this mini-series, we looked at how we can take the shapes for the relatively familiar dominant seventh chords, like E7th, and by sharpening the root, in this case changing the E note to F, we create a diminished seventh chord built on the new root note, the F. So this is F diminished seventh. A quick look at the theory behind these two chord shapes soon shows us why this trick works. The formula for a dominant seventh chord is 1, 3, 5, flat 7. This means that for E7th, for example, you take the first, third, fifth and flatted seventh notes from the E major scale. For a diminished seventh chord, the formula sounds more complicated. 1, flat 3, flat 5, double flatted seventh. So to make an E diminished seventh chord, you take the first, flatted third, flatted fifth and double flatted seventh notes from the E major scale. Now let's take a closer look at how the two formulas compare. The diminished chord is altogether a more condensed chord, as the name diminished perhaps suggests. Compared to the dominant seventh, all three notes after the root note, that's the third, fifth and flatted seventh, are shifted down a semitone or half step. So, looking at this on the fretboard, we can perhaps see this most clearly looking at the D7th shape. So here's an E7th using a D7th shape. If I keep the root as the note E here at fret 2 on the D string, I can change this chord to E diminished seventh by sliding these three notes down a fret like this. But in practice, it's often a more useful approach to think of this comparison. Here, rather than comparing E7th with E diminished seventh, we're comparing E7th with F diminished seventh. Notice that in this case we keep the third, fifth and flat seventh notes in the key of E where they are, and simply shift the root note up a semitone or half step. Having moved the root, we now have to reassess the notes relative to the key of F major. So we analyse their position on the F major scale. Having effectively moved our benchmark up a semitone, the third now becomes the flatted third, the fifth becomes the flatted fifth, and the flatted seventh becomes the double flatted seventh. Here we show the reference scales in red of E major at the top of the screen and F major at the bottom. Note that A flat, the flatted third in the key of F, is an enharmonic equivalent, a note that sounds the same but has a different name, of G sharp, the natural third in the key of E major. Similarly, C flat as the flatted fifth in the key of F sounds the same as B, the fifth in the key of E. And E double flat, the double flatted seventh in F, sounds the same as D, which is the flatted seventh in E. Well, I did promise you that the explanation would sound complicated. But now let's look at this on the fretboard again, where fortunately everything is a little simpler. So just now we looked at how we can change this E7th chord into E diminished 7th by moving these three notes back a step. But what we've just been over works the other way. We keep these three notes where they are and simply move the root note up from E to F, thus changing from E7th to F diminished 7th. And a bonus that you get from thinking that way round, apart from its simplicity of application, is that this is in fact one of the commonest ways that diminished chords are used. As a substitute for a chord rooted a semitone below. We'll take a closer look at that in the next secret soundbite. If you found this little video useful, please do click on the like button if there is one, or leave a comment, and do feel free to share the video with your friends. And if you'd like to gain full access to all our guitar teaching materials, please do visit the Secret Guitar Teacher site and have a free look round at what's available there. See you again soon.